Hey, Gio, thanks so much for joining us, and thank you to everyone tuned in here participating tonight. We're joined by senior guard Gio Baker, and we'll begin the press conference. Reminder, use the raise hand function to indicate you'd like to ask a question when you're called on. For your question, please state your name and affiliation first. And Gio, congratulations to you on the win. Our first question is from Jerry Carino with Gannett, New Jersey. Jerry, please unmute yourself, then go ahead and ask your question.
Okay. Gio, congratulations.
Thanks, Jerry. I appreciate it.
Just take us through the emotion of what this means to you and everybody associated with the program, not just to get here, like you said in October, but to move on in the dance.
Yeah, I mean, we just feel like a special unit, man. We feel like this is meant to be. We've been working, for some of us, it's been 2 years now where, we've been waiting for this moment. The new guys have came in, stepped up as well, and just a whole lot of emotions. But, at the same time, we feel like this was meant to be and we should be here. So, we have a lot of confidence with it as well. But just happy, man. Just everybody's really happy right now.
Thanks, Gio.
Next, Keith Sargent with the Star Ledger and NJ.com. Keith, please unmute yourself and then ask your question.
Gio, can you take us through the play with about 10 seconds to go? Was that a pass? Was it a deflection? Can you just take us through that play?
Yeah, I definitely tried to be a little too flashy. I tried to throw a no-look to Ron. I thought Sims was going to bite a little bit because there was also a man on the other side. I tried to throw a little no-look, but he read it. He tipped it, and I just stayed with the play and just got a layup, kind of right place, right time. But, that's kind of, our mentality, too, is that, you never give up on the play. So, just happy that I got the ball and made a finish right there.
Next up, Steve Pallidi, also from the Star Ledger and NJ.com. Steve, please unmute yourself and then ask your question.
Hey, Gio, if you wait 30 years to play an NCAA tournament game, does it almost have to be one of these games where just the action was, down to the final minute, chew your nails off? I mean, did that make it more special to be in one of these games?
Yeah, I mean, it just made it March. All these games are going to be like this. Luckily we have, a lot of veterans here who have been through some battles. But, yeah, I mean, it was everything I hoped for. And, everything these guys hoped for, and then we just came out strong, finished strong.
Next up, Bruce Beck with WNBC TV in New York. Bruce, in a moment here, please unmute yourself and then ask your question.
Gio, congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I mean, this was like a rock fight at times. Just the ability of your ball club to figure out a way, which you've done throughout the season. It doesn't matter how pretty it is, but you guys somehow come up with an answer. Can you explain that as you did tonight, Gio?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, there's been a lot of rock fights this year, but we knew what type of team they were coming in. Really physical. When you drive in the lane, there's going to be a whole lot of hands. Shots weren't really falling, but like you said, we just got to find a way. Like I said, we stayed with it, and Caleb McConnell, 10 rebounds. That's super special. Like, we need plays like that. We need players like that, and yeah, we just made plays down the stretch, and like you said, found a way to win.
Good luck in the next chapter.
Thank you.
And continuing on here, our next question will come from Zach Braziller with the New York Post. Zach, here in a second, please unmute yourself and then ask your question.
Gio, was it almost fitting that your defense really seemed to carry the team's defense really kind of felt like the story of this game, where first half you don't shoot well, the defense keeps you in it. In the last few minutes after the lead's gone, it's the defense again. I mean, kind of feels like that's almost been the story of this team the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's our identity. We said it before the game. We just said it after the game. Our defense is going to carry us, and then, offense is going to come eventually. But, defense wins you championships. So that's the bottom line. We got to continue to defend at a high level, and then the shots will eventually fall.
Next question comes from Aaron. Aaron, please go ahead, unmute yourself, and ask your question.
Hi, Gio. just in terms of what you guys went through down the stretch of the second half and everything been through with the wars in the Big Ten, how did that help you kind of endure? You know, you went up on that 11-point run and then they came all the way back. How you were able to stay composed and just fight through it?
Yeah, basketball is a game of runs. You know, we made a run, then they made a run. You know, the important part is that you stay with the game plan, you stay focused, and you stay together. When adversity hit, we made sure that there was no pouting, you know, no negative energy, and that we just focused on the goal, which was to win the game. When we have a veteran group like this, you know, I think that we'll continue that mentality, and, you know, it'll always work out.
And now we're going to go back to Jerry.
Gio, what did you say to the guys afterwards? Did you have a minute to talk before you came in here with the players?
Yeah, actually, it was Caleb McConnell who said something, which is, you know, kind of what I was just getting to. But, you know, when adversity hits, you know, there was no negative energy and that we stayed together, and that's the same thing that we need to have, you know, these next upcoming games as well. And, you know, we also talked about how defense carries us and offense, you know, offense will eventually come. Those are really the only two things that we talked about, defending at a high level and then just staying together.
And Gio, how did you match what you envisioned this like to be, you know, growing up or when you first got here? This experience today.
Oh, this experience today,
Yeah.
you know, it was better than I imagined, honestly. You know, this is something that we've all dreamed of for a really long time. But, you know, to hear the Rutgers fans in there, you know, just going crazy and just knowing that, you know, we survived and advanced in March, you know, that's something that I've always just imagined, and it was crazier than I ever even pictured.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Next up, we've got John with hoopshd.com.
Hey, Gio, John Titel from hoopshd.com. You talked about the veterans who've been through the battles. As somebody who had losing seasons during his first 2 years there and then had a good season last year but had the tournament canceled, was there a point in the past where you were worried this night would not happen? And when did you start to feel that at some point in your career tonight would happen?
No, I always knew this night was going to happen, to be honest with you. You know, some of the guys from New Jersey will tell you that, you know, I had on my shoes 1991 all the way back to my sophomore year. You know, we only had 7 wins in the Big Ten. You know, it's been the goal since I got here, and since we got here, and we just knew it was going to happen. So I feel like we've just always had that mindset, and, you know, when you put your mind to it, you can do anything.
Steve.
Hey, Gio, there's a nice moment there at the end where you ran back out of the crowd and they were chanting your name. You raised a fist to them. I mean, just take us through the emotions, how you felt. I know it's been a hard run not having people in the building, but what was that like?
Just super special. You know, I know they've been waiting for a longer time than me, you know, some of these fans. So, you know, they've been waiting for those emotions too. And just super special to connect with them again. You know, we haven't really had that this year. You know, that's been tough on everybody, honestly. But, you know, just knowing that they're there supporting us, you know, that just makes it so much better. So it was great.
Back to Zach.
Gio, can you just, I guess, put into words not only, you know, as Rutgers in the tournament, but you're advancing and, you know, you have a second round to play now on Sunday. I mean, what does it feel like after everything you guys have gone through with last year and to not only be in the tournament to win, but to win a game?
Just special. You know, I can't really think of any other type of word, honestly. Just, you know, just special. Just blessed to be here. You know, we've all worked so hard. You know, like I said before, you know, some guys it's been 2 years. You know, we felt like we should have made it. But it's just special. You know, this is the stuff that you grow up watching on TV. You know, and then even my first 2 years, you know, I'm watching it on TV. You know, in college. So just to be here and, you know, to win a game is just really special.
Okay, with that, Gio, thank you very much for your time. Best of luck in the next round, and we'll be joined momentarily now by head coach Steve Peichel. But Gio, thank you very much for your time. Congratulations.
All right, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
And again, you can use this time now to raise or lower your hand as necessary. With Coach Peichel coming up in a minute. Coach Peichel, congratulations on the victory here tonight. And now we will begin with an opening statement from Rutgers head coach Steve Peichel and then go to your questions. When we do, a reminder to use the raise hand function to indicate you'd like to ask a question. And when you're called on for your question, please state your name and media affiliation first, as Coach can't see you on the screen. But Coach, please give us a brief opening statement, and then we'll go to questions.
First, I'd just like to quickly mention our radio announcer, Coach Joe Boylan. Our prayers are with him. He's in the hospital, and we're thinking about you, Coach. We miss you on the radio, and we had a good game for you today, so I hope you got to enjoy it. But our prayers are with you. Speedy recovery. Obviously excited about the outcome of the game. Respect Clemson a great deal. Brad is one of the best coaches in the country. We knew it would be one of these games. They defend at an elite level. I really liked our poise, down the stretch. Caleb McConnell came off the bench, did some great things. I mean, everybody that checked into the game again did some unbelievable things. And I especially, Brandon Knight had the scout for this game, my assistant coach, and he does a great job. And tip of the hat to the prep that was done for this game. So excited for Rutgers Nation, excited to, get to live another 40 minutes, and we're looking forward to the next huge challenge, which is Coach Sampson and Houston.
Great. Now we'll go to questions from the media. Don't forget, use the raise hand function to indicate you want to ask a question. And also, Coach Peichel, if you don't mind, maybe leaning in a little bit closer towards the microphone on these responses. But we'll start with Bruce Beck from WNBC TV in New York. Bruce, please unmute yourself and go ahead to ask your question here in just a second. There you go.
Steve, congratulations on the win.
Thanks, Bruce.
What are you most proud of when you look back at this ball game, Steve? Because there were ebbs and flows throughout.
Yeah, we knew it would be that kind of game. Watching all the tapes, that's, how they play. Most proud we out-rebounded them. That was a huge key for us. And I thought, in the second half, we really settled down, didn't turn the basketball over. It was another huge key. But we figured out a way to win. We held the team to 56 points. That's, our defense and our rebound had really stepped up. And then we made some, really big, timely baskets. 4 guys in double figures. Is a good thing. We moved the ball in the second half, got guys some open looks, and, again, excited. You survive in advance in these situations.
Thank you.
And next, we'll go to Keith Sargent from the Star-Ledger and NJ.com. Keith?
Steve, what was your message to the team afterward?
Yeah, just proud of them. We got another game coming up here. We don't have a lot of time, enjoy it for a little bit, and then we'll get ready and prep for the next one. But certainly, for the first time, these guys being on this stage, they were locked in from the beginning. We've had great practices this whole week, and I like how they played with that swagger. At the end, Jacob and Ron and Caleb and all those guys. Miles with some big rebounds for us, and all the guys that came in too. Paul always does what he does, and Montez always gives us great energy. Cliff, so we're going to need them all, and we got a big one coming up here in quick turnaround.
We'll go to Jerry Carino with Gannett, New Jersey.
Hey, Steve, congratulations.
Thanks, Jerry.
Can you summarize what this moment is like for you and everyone in the program?
Well,
Seeing those fans there and everything?
Yeah, it was great. Rutgers Nation came out, whatever tickets were available. They were loud. It helps. Our guys excited to have some fans. It's been a long year with no fans, so it was great. Hopefully we can get some more out here in the next couple days. But, big step for our program to win a game against a really good team in the ACC, a well-coached club that really elite defenders, really good players. Sims is a problem, as you could see tonight. I thought we did a good job, settled down in the second half with him. But good team win.
And moving on, Steve Pallidi with the Star-Ledger and NJ.com. Steve, you're up.
Hey, Steve, is it sort of fitting after waiting that long for an NCAA tournament game that it would be this kind of game where it goes down to the final minute? What was it like for you watching those final seconds when, the ball goes to Gio and he hits that layup?
Yeah, well, I thought in the last 350, I think we held them to 1 point. So, I told our guys coming out of that timeout, like, we got enough points to win. You just got to hold on and keep defending. Gio makes obviously a big play, but made a big out-of-bounds underplay, too, where he hit the three, But everyone, made big plays and some big rebounds and kept balls alive. And I liked our energy the whole time. They stuck together even when, things weren't going our way. They're a good group. They're resilient. We've been through a lot. It's been a 2-year journey, too. So, I like the toughness, and we toughed out a win. Old-fashioned, keeping to 56 points is a really good sign.
Our next question will come from Chris Eisman with Gannett, New Jersey.
Steve, you mentioned Caleb. I mean, how big was it for him to have this type of night, 13 points, 10 rebounds, and make some of the plays that he did, especially in a game like this?
Huge. He came in, he had great energy right off the bat. To get 13 points and 10 rebounds, he got 3 assists, too, a steal. Very involved. He's a really good defender, too. So those are his offensive numbers. And I know when I go through the tape, the defense that he played, too, you'll really see some more things. So, really excited about his minutes. All the guys. Paul chipped in, hit some big threes for us. They all did great things. But to have a double-double on this stage, and I know he played great defense because you can count on him for that every night. So, tip of the hat to Caleb.
For our next question, John with hoopshd.com. John.
Hey, Coach. John Titel from hoopshd.com. You had losing seasons each of your first 3 years here, and then had a 20-win season last year, but had the tournament canceled because of COVID. Was there a point in the past where you were worried tonight would never happen? And was there a point in the past where you knew that tonight would happen?
Well, I was always confident that it would happen. Last year it was supposed to happen. Obviously, because of COVID, it cut our season short. But we had to fight back this year and prove it again, and our guys did. And, I know they weren't happy and satisfied just being here. I know they want to keep playing. And they kind of took that approach. Again, great week of practice and great energy before the game. At halftime, even when we were down, they stayed the course and got rewarded. So excited for them, and they're excited. It's a resilient group.
We'll go to Zach from the Post, and also, Coach, if you don't mind, just to, again, lean a little bit closer towards the microphone. Appreciate it. Thank you. Zach, go ahead.
Hey, what did it mean, the fact that, those last 4 minutes, it was all about, Gio scores your last 5 points, your defense holds them to 1 point, two things that have kind of been the mainstays of your team for really the last 2 years?
Yeah, we made some timely baskets, too, so important. In a game like this, too, I looked at all their scores. My God, if you go through their scores, 38 points, they give up 40 points, 41. They've beaten some elite teams, and when I watched them beat Alabama and beat Purdue and beat Maryland and hold those teams to season lows, I knew we were facing an elite, defensive team. And I said to our guys that, we can win games by scoring a lot. We can win games by, we've had to win games all kinds of different ways this year. And, I have confidence, in our defense. I knew rebounding would be a huge key. And we were able to, be plus, 9 on the glass. And that was, that was huge for us. But we can win game in the 60s, too. We don't mind that. And, they dictate the tempo, too. They get you running late clock situations because their defense is so good. And we were able to do the same thing, to them. But timely baskets down the end, we executed and got some good looks. Even the ones we didn't make, I thought were the looks we wanted. Although they made it difficult for us, for sure.
Next up, we'll go to Aaron.
Aaron Brightman on the banks. Hey, Coach, congratulations.
I,
Wanted to ask about that last stretch where Miles hobbled off and Ron Harper had to pick up Sims on that possession and the job he did, and just how the team kept their composure even when they had to deal with adversity like that with the game on the line.
Yeah, I mean, we have had adversity all year long, so I was glad they responded. You know, Miles been in foul trouble too, so we've been in that situation before. But Ron can guard multiple players, and we were confident that they did. I wanted to just have another ball handler in the game too, you know, with Paul. So was able to make those adjustments, and those guys are, you know, big enough and strong enough to guard forwards if they have to. And thought Ron did a really good job, and the guys stayed the course. Got a couple big stops down the stretch.
We'll go back to Bruce.
Steve, every game is like this in the Big Ten. Do you feel you're equipped for this type of ball game because of the character your club has developed and because of the experience of these nail biters?
Yeah, I mean, we've been in them before. We've had our backs against the wall. We've had to win games on the road or wherever it may be. We are experienced. Even our younger players have played a lot of minutes and logged a lot of minutes. When we stay focused and we're together, we can do some good things. So excited we get to play another day, and look forward to the next challenge. That's Houston.
Keith. Keith, do you have another question?
Hey, Steve. I know it's really fresh, you know, off this win, but any thoughts on Houston? You know, I mean, you probably.
I know
any thoughts?
they're really good. I mean, they're a 2 seed, and they got a great Hall of Fame caliber coach. So we'll get to work. My assistants have done an unbelievable job, and huge challenge for us. Talented team, player of the year, defensive player of the year. They got, you know, most improved player. I think they got every single award in that conference. So really good, big challenge for us.
Hendricks.
Hey, Coach. Hendricks Magley, Indianapolis Star. First off, just wanted to ask about Jacob Young. You know, he was the only player on this team who had past tournament experience, and I felt like tonight he came through kind of when the guys really needed something. How important was that past NCAA tournament experience tonight?
Yeah, I mean he's tough, and he likes these kind of games too. First and foremost, I love the job he did in the second half. He settled down, didn't have any turnovers. He's really good defensively. He brings swagger to our team too, and he's an elite defensive guard. You know, he's one of the fastest guys in the country. But yeah, his experience, his work ethic. I mean, he's in the gym all the time. He's one guy that, and it paid off. I mean, he shot the ball really well tonight. Making 3 threes was huge for us. But he's continuing to have a really good senior year.
Jerry.
Steve, is Miles okay? It looked like he got banged up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we'll figure that out. He's with Rich right now, so I don't have any updates on him. But yeah, he came out of the game. He couldn't finish the game, so we'll figure that out. Hopefully he'll be okay.
And Hendricks.
Just one more thing about Gio too. I thought it was interesting. In the media notes, it said that he's known for his late game heroics. I thought that was interesting, just knowing that he scored the final 5 points tonight. You know, I know that's something he's done all season. You know, at this point, does it just kind of become expected?
I mean, he's done it a lot throughout his whole career. You know, even his freshman year on, he's made big plays for us and big baskets. He's very confident, and we're confident in him too. I think the players are confident. But he can also make the right pass too. So, because when you have the ball in his hands, good things can happen. And he certainly never shies away from taking a big one. So, thankful to have a guy like that. And, you know, he's made a lot of them for us.
And finally, Jerry.
Oh, I'm done. Sorry, I forgot to lower my hand.
All good. Well, with that, Coach, congratulations again. Thank you so much for your time. Best of luck advancing on.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you being on. Thank you.
And thanks to all of you as well for joining us here tonight. That's it for this Rutgers postgame news conference. A transcript of these interviews will be provided by ASAP Sports and posted along with a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Thank you for joining us. Have a nice night, and we'll talk to you next time. Thanks again.
All right, thank you everyone for participating today. We will now begin with an opening statement from Coach Brad Brownell and then go to questions. Please use the raised hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. And one more time, please make sure you are identified on here by both name and affiliation. Coach would ask you to please lean into the microphone as you answer each question, and would first ask you to just start off with a brief opening statement, and then we'll go to questions.
Yeah, congratulations to Rutgers. I thought it was a great, this was tournament basketball. Their kids played extremely hard. I thought our guys did as well. Both teams very physical and aggressive defensively. The defense was better than the offense on both ends. I thought the difference in the game in the second half, they got some extra rebounds, and a lot of those led to some easy baskets. They had a couple, like the play at the end, they had a couple balls that just kind of seemed to find their way. We kind of went and trapped Baker there at the end, and all of a sudden we think we get kind of a half steal, and it bounces into somebody's hands, and they lay one in. And in a game like this where there's ebbs and flows and both teams making runs and competing hard, the easy baskets often are the difference. And give the Rutgers kids credit. I thought they got a couple more easy baskets than we did in the game, and that was the difference.
Okay, we'll go to questions from the media. Again, use the raise hand function to indicate you'd like to ask a question. We will start with Carter Hill from the fifth quarter. Carter, if you'll unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hey, Coach. Just first off, what motivation does this add for the offseason? How will you remember this loss, and how will you carry that over into the offseason?
Really just young players having the opportunity to play in games like this. It wasn't a true NCAA atmosphere in terms of your hotel and band and fans and all the things that go with it. Some of the pomp and circumstance that you really want these kids to experience. A full house at your game, but it was a big stage. It was big time basketball. You could feel how competitive it was, and as a player, you should want to play in games like this. And so it should serve as motivation to not only play in games like this, but play well and win and advance. And so we talked about that very briefly with our young guys in the locker room. And obviously, we're very grateful for our three seniors who have had outstanding careers.
Okay, next we'll go to Joseph Gorcho from WIS-TV. Joseph, unmute yourself and go ahead.
Coach, congratulations on a great season tonight. Clyde Trapp really tried to provide that spark. What did you see just in those moments hanging in the balance where you saw Clyde, a senior who's laid it all on the line for you for 4 years, show that willingness and that grit to keep this team from falling further behind in that second half?
Yeah, I thought Clyde was going to play well. He's practiced very well lately. His knee was bothering him in our Miami game in the ACC tournament, and he's had probably 3 games this year maybe where his knee has been a problem, and he just can't quite get it loose. But he felt great all week. I could tell just going into the game that I thought he had a lot of confidence. He did make some big shots at the end of the Miami game in the ACC tournament, and he played very well tonight. Played with a lot of confidence, swagger, aggressiveness, assertiveness, and made some big time shots for us when we needed it. Kept us in the game. Proud of our guys. We got down 9 or 11 there. 11 at one point. I think in the second half it looked like we were going to cave in, and our seniors wouldn't let that happen, and Clyde's a big part of that.
Next to Matt Connolly from the State. Matt, unmute yourself and go for it.
Brad, that last possession when Amir had the ball, can you take me through that? Did you see a walk right there? What did you see on that play?
Yeah, I don't think he traveled, no. I think he took 2 steps. I think there was contact, but, it's a similar play. It's the exact same play we ran against Georgia Tech late in the game, and Amir did about the same thing and scored through a guy to cut it to 2 in that game. Clyde made a read. I probably wish he would have come for the handoff, but he didn't. He kind of thought he was going to get a back cut layup, so he went to the basket, and that, Amir didn't pass it, so might have clogged it up a little bit. But Amir still got his drive. He got, we were going to put it in our best player's hands. He's going to drive it to the basket and make a play for your team. That's what you do as a coach. You trust your guys. Unfortunately, they called travel. I'll look at it, but I don't think it was.
Other questions for Coach? If you have a question for Coach, please use the raise hand feature. We'll go back to Joseph Gorcho from WISTB. Joseph, unmute yourself and ask your question.
Coach, you mentioned your 2 seniors there, Sims and Trapp, and how they kept this team and willed this team. What have these 2 guys meant to this program from the day they stepped on campus to right now?
Yeah, they're terrific people. Both have been absolutely zero problems, and I mean zero, like not late, not anything. Good students, good players, and they've won a lot of games. They're part of a Sweet 16 team as freshmen. We represented the United States at the World University Games in the summer of 19. They won a gold medal. Won 20 games as sophomores. Would have won 20 games this year if we played a full season. Made 2 NCAA tournaments, NIT, World University Games champion. I mean, these guys have done a lot, and they do it. They handle their business like professional men. They're going to be great ambassadors of Clemson. These are the kind of guys you want to coach, and you hate to see go because of how easy they are to coach and how good of players they become. They've really developed. It's what you want your program to be about. Freshmen that bide their time and just are patient, coachable, and keep working. We've got a couple good young freshmen in our program right now that we really like, and we're hopeful that they'll do the same. We think they can be similar players, but they've got to be patient. They got to work, and they got to be coachable, just like these guys were. And then you trust in your process, and you develop into a really good player.
Okay, next question from David Hood with TigerNet. David, unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hey, Coach, you'll obviously have time to look back on this in the coming days and weeks, but just at first blush, what are your thoughts about this season and being able to pull it off despite all of the restrictions and everything that went on, and being able to win 16 games, advance to an NCAA tournament? Would you say, yeah, I think we had a really good year. We were successful. Or what's your first blush look back at it?
Absolutely. I think it was successful. And I'm very thankful to our administrators for putting our team in a position to have a chance to play these games, protecting our players, really all the athletes at Clemson with the things they did to help, put them in individual rooms and give them space and protect them as best they can. I think we all would have taken, 20-plus game regular seasons and postseason and opportunities like this to play. And then just my guys are a joy to be around. I've got great kids. I've said this. We led the ACC in all academic team members. We finished whatever we did in the league, 10-6 in the league, made an NCAA tournament. And these kids have been absolutely, zero problems. They're a joy to coach. I'm proud of our program. I'm proud of what our program stands for. And it's that way because we have really good kids. We recruit good kids. And these kids, give us everything they have. As coaches, we try to love them up as much as we can, mentor them. And, you hope that you have seasons like this for the older players in your on your team so that they'll remember this, because this will be an experience that they'll remember. Unfortunately, it didn't end the way that we wanted it to. But, you know, when it's all said and done, they're going to be very proud of all that they accomplished this season.
Next to Josh Needleman with the Charleston Post and Courier. Josh, unmute yourself and you can ask your question.
Hey, Brad. What went into that decision at the end to, instead of fouling there, just letting the guys play that on defense? Was that just trusting your guys there on defense to kind of make that stop?
Yeah, with 37 seconds left, I think there was 37 seconds left when they called the travel. Yeah, we had a foul to give, you know, all that kind of stuff. We could have been a little more aggressive, maybe in a trap or two. You know, I didn't. Their guard play is good. Their size was a factor in the game. I think, you know, in the open court, their players are even better, and so I was very hesitant about opening the court in that situation and giving up a dunk. We chose, you know, there's plenty of time left to still get a stop and transition back at them in the open court and make a play. They were going to use clock and have Geo Baker go, you know, 1-4 flat against us late in the clock. And so we decided, you know what, let's disrupt in the half court. So we came and ran at him, and I'm anxious to watch the play. You know, it looked like we got a chance to got a deflection on it. You know, it got through and somehow bounced to their guy, and they laid it in and ended up being the difference. But I didn't want to press. I didn't want to, you know, open the court up. We did think that we needed to come after Geo Baker there at the end, but, you know, it didn't work.
Our next question to Larry Williams with Tigers Illustrated. Larry, if you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Brad, can you hear me?
Yes.
I was just wondering if you could elaborate on those defensive possessions that you couldn't close out. You mentioned that it seemed like the ball sort of bounced their way. Was it just purely that in your mind?
No, I'm sure it's not all that. I mean, this is a big, strong, physical team. I mean, these guys are big. They're athletic. They play really hard. You know, physically, they're bigger than we are at almost every position. And we faced that a lot this year in certain situations. And sometimes it's a problem. Rebounding, it's loose balls, whatever you want to call it. Like, we had some opportunities. We probably missed at least 2 opportunities, maybe 3 opportunities to take charges that we normally do that could have erased a basket. Really disappointed a couple guys that I thought had positions to do that. You know, I'm sure their kids out-hustled us to a ball or two. But the other thing is, you're also, part of what you're doing defensively is your spread. They've got you spread out, and they're such good one-on-one players that you have to put a man and a half in every gap. And so now you're not standing right next to the guy that you're blocking out. You're 15 feet away from that guy. And if you want to go stand next to your guy, then Geo Baker and Young are going to just go live in the lane and play over top of our little guards. And so because we have to get up in those gaps to help, we have longer blockouts. We have more challenging situations because their guys are going to get a little bit more of a running start occasionally. And so I'm sure when I look at the film, there'll be 2 or 3 times when guarding those guys off driving penetration and being in a gap was part of what was difficult about blocking them out, because we're not standing right next to them. If that makes sense.
All right, Coach Brownell, thank you very much for your time today. We'll let you get back to the locker room.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
For the media members on here, we'll be joined momentarily by Clyde Trapp. Please use this time to raise or lower your hand as necessary, and we'll take questions for Clyde Trapp when he comes on. Okay, Clyde, thank you for joining us today. We're now joined by Clyde Trapp. Again, please use the raise hand function to indicate if you would like to ask a question. We will go first to David Hood with TigerNet. David, if you'll unmute yourself, you can ask your question.
Hey, Clyde, you guys, after falling behind, I think by 11 there, you made your run, just couldn't quite finish it out. What do you think the difference was there in those final 3 minutes, and when you guys really didn't seem to find any kind of an offensive rhythm too?
Sorry, but before I answer any questions, I just want to
express how proud I am of this team. You know, we had a lot of adversity this year. Everybody against us, kind of to say, and just kind of want to say that I'm really proud of this team, this coaching staff, and our younger guys are this is something they should strive to live for and play in again. And I just wanted to say that I'm thankful for Coach Barnell and this opportunity. It's been great these 4 years, and like I said, I'm just so proud of this team. And yeah, so can you repeat your question again? Sorry.
If you'll raise your hand again, I can call on you so you can ask that question. Okay, David, you should be able to unmute yourself again.
Yeah, Clyde, you guys made such a strong run to get back in the game there in the second half after falling down. But the offensive rhythm just wasn't there in the final 3 minutes. What happened?
Just give credit to Rutgers. They're, you know, a gritty team just like us. I think they did a lot of things to disrupt us, and at the end of the day, they hustled more than we did tonight. They got to the loose balls, and like I said, they just hustled a little bit more. 1 or 2 50-50 balls would have went our way. The game would have been totally different, I believe.
Okay, we'll go to Lou Bizak from the state. Lou, if you'll unmute yourself and ask your question.
Clyde, what are you going to take from your 4 years? What remember the most and the impact? What's Clemson basketball meant to you these last 4 years?
It's been great. I think a lot of programs around the country they focus mainly on basketball, and throughout my recruitment process, I knew that I wanted to go to a school that was going to develop me as a basketball player, but also a man. And I think Coach Barnell and his approach to everyday life, I think has helped me and all the other seniors, me, Amir, and JB. I think we're not only leaving as better basketball players, but we're leaving as better men. And I think that's what Clemson basketball is. We have great players, but we're also developing like men too. So yeah, that's really the biggest thing I'm gonna take away is from Clemson.
Our next question comes from Joseph Gorcho with WIS-TV. Joseph, if you'll unmute yourself and ask your question.
Clyde, congrats on a great season. I know it's not what you wanted tonight in terms of the outcome, but what do you think you proved to people who may have never seen you play before on this stage to do what you did in that stretch to score 11 points, I believe, in a row for your team to keep the Tigers in at that point and keep them in the lead? What did you prove to yourself in those moments, and what do you think you showed people at home watching you play for the first time?
I just think, you know, my teammates just set me up for greatness. I think every time out that we came in, everybody just kept telling me to stay confident and stay ready. And I think throughout practices, throughout the whole year, I think I've showed flashes of being able to control a game. And just so happened today that I controlled the game for a short period of time there. And I think that just showed, like I said, shout out. And then Coach Barnell, too, called a couple plays for me down there in the stretch. And like I said, everybody just set me up for success right there. And I appreciate them for that.
Our next question from Carter Hill with the fifth quarter. Carter, you can unmute yourself.
Hey, Clyde. Congrats on a great season again. I know you're a senior, but for anyone doubting Clemson basketball going forward, what would your message be to them?
Yeah, this loss right here, don't take it the wrong way, but this loss takes nothing away from our season. Like I said at the beginning, we've had so much adversity. We had a COVID pause there where we kind of lost our way, and I think the guys and Coach Barnell and the coaching staff, I think we did a great job of fighting back and finishing strong in the league. And like I said, I don't think people understand how hard it is to win these games. My 4 years here, I think, is prepared me to know how to win these games, and also it's taught me how to lose these games. So I want the people considering Clemson basketball in this program to know that we're on the up and up. It's proven. We've won these tough games. We've beaten the top of the top, these 4 seeds, 3 seeds, whatever. Like it's Clemson basketball isn't the bottom of the ACC, and we've been trying to fight for that respect all 4 years that I've been here. So.
Our next question comes from Matt Connolly with the State. Matt, if you can unmute yourself.
And I know you said you guys are on the up. Just who are some players to look out for next year, and how do you feel? I know you won't be a part of it, but how do you feel about the team that's coming back?
I mean, everybody you see on our roster, literally it can go for 10, 15 points in a matter of 10 minutes. So everybody on our roster is proven. You know, with hard work, I think everybody on this team can be key contributors to this team next year. And I have all confidence in the coaching staff and Coach Barnell that they'll get these guys to where they need to be the next time you see us. So.
If there are any further questions for Clyde, please use the raised hand function. We'll go back to Matt Connolly with the State one more time. Matt, you can unmute yourself.
Can you just take me through that last possession where Amir had the ball, and just how much confidence do you have in him in those situations, and what did you see on that play?
Right. So basically, I was supposed to, you know, just throw it to Amir and cut over. We made eye contact on the back cut. I have all confidence in the world in Amir. He's made that play so many times, and it's proven in Miami, Georgia Tech, Florida State. He made a late bucket off that play. So it was nothing different than any other game. We just had a bad draw of the hand, and like Coach Barnell said, I don't know I don't think he traveled. I'm anxious to watch it. But at the end of the day, Amir's made that play so many times everybody on the team had all the confidence in him, and nobody is blaming him for anything. We don't blame anybody. So it was just a bad draw of the hand right there, and it just didn't go our way.
Our next question to David Hood with TigerNet. David, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, Clyde, I think it's interesting that you come out and say that you know, everybody's against you guys. And I know you guys, you hear it from the fans and you read the message boards. Do you ever feel like you just wish that some people, you know, that surround this team would get behind Brownell and the program and just throw their full support in and see what happens?
Yeah, for sure. That's basketball. That's the profession. And Coach, I wish the people who say these crazy things about our program, I wish they would really sit in the office and talk to Coach Barnell. They see these wins and losses and the ups and downs of seasons, and they just, you know, throw all their emotions in that. But if to get to know Coach Barnell, you'll love his personality. You'll love him as a man. And it's just everybody on the team just, and me and Amir especially, since we've been here the most, we felt for him. We've actually had conversations with each other about how Coach Barnell gets all this backlash, and he just every day he comes in and he's ready to work. You know what I mean? And that's what a man does in his profession. You know what I mean? So we're grateful for him, and like I said, we've not only has he taught us things, we've learned from him just being who he is. So like I said, it's crazy that people will say that, but that's the profession. Coach Barnell knows that, and he knows that his team is behind him just as much as he's behind us.
And last question we have time for, we'll go to Josh Needleman with the Charleston Post and Courier. Josh, if you can unmute yourself.
Clyde, on that last point, have you ever talked to Coach Barnell about that directly? And if people were to sit down in those meetings and see his personality, what would they learn about him?
I haven't talked to Coach Barnell directly about it, but I know that he feels because, you know, coaches are human too, you know what I mean? So just like we read things on Twitter, Coach Barnell can read things on Twitter, you know what I mean? So I know that he's seen it, and he knows that we know he sees it, and the best thing for us to do is just be there and let him know that we support him just as much as he supports us. And if people were to sit there and talk to Coach Barnell, they will figure out that he's human. Like he's a great man. He wants the best for every single player on the team, from the star player to the walk-ons on the team. Like, he holds everybody to the same standard and doesn't expect anything under that standard. And I think that's a quality in a person that everybody should strive to have. So,
Clyde, thank you so much for your time today. We'll let you get back to the locker room.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us here. That's it for this post-game news conference. A transcript will be provided by ASAP Sports and posted along with the recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.verit1.com. Thank you again for joining us.